Hello, Facebook family. We're here tonight and just welcome you to another night of Marriage Mondays with Nick and Trina Brinson, the lady and the coach. We just want to thank y'all for coming in and joining us tonight. And we got a good topic tonight that we want to discuss and talk about that is very important in your marriage relationship. And we just ask that you listen, make comments as we go out through the night and make sure what we're talking about is significant to your relationship. If not, then maybe it's significant to somebody else that and you can help them with it. So we just want to thank Mr. Elgin Wright for coming in tonight and Sister Josephine Green, the first two on tonight. Appreciate y'all coming in. We normally give a few minutes to let people chime in before we get going with the topic, and we just want to take that time to do so right now, and just to welcome y'all and to give acknowledgement of those people that are important to our broadcast on a weekly basis, and we just thank y'all for joining us.
So just to cover the necessities, we do represent Crown Kingdom Cultural Center, and our pastor is Bishop Finus Bush Jr. and his wife Denise Bush, and they are who have assigned us to this task, which is to reach out to married couples and provide support and resources for married couples. So that's what we endeavor to do each week, and we try to keep that mission at the forefront of what we're doing. So I see some evergreen folks starting to come on in. We appreciate you all always participating with us. So if you guys will just go ahead and share this broadcast, just so the other folks know that we own. And so if you know somebody who might appreciate the content, feel free to share. We will be talking about friendship in marriage, and we just want to highlight how important that is, and also highlight what it's not, so that your expectations are realistic, and so that you can strengthen that part of your marriage if you find there's a weakness there, or just actively work to keep the friendship in your marriage. Sometimes that can get lost, and so we want you guys to be thinking about this topic, hopefully after we have this conversation tonight, and you can examine your own relationship and really find out if friendship is at the core of your relationship with your spouse, or if that's lacking, if you need to work on building friendship, because that marriage is that last. The two are friends. For the marriage is that last. There's a friendship there, not just the love relationship, but also a friendship. And so we want to highlight that today.
Right.
You want to get started, or you need a minute?
Yeah, we're just about, we're trying to go about 4 to 5 minutes after let people chime in and get on tonight. So, yeah, let's go ahead and start. Friendship and marriage. What does that look like, and how does it affect the marriage relationship? And is it really important to the marriage relationship? I think that's the question that needs to be asked. Do you and your spouse need to be friends in order for y'all to have a long-lasting, healthy marriage?
What do you think?
I think yes.
Why?
Because I should be able to come to you with any and every problem or issue or good.
Everything?
Mostly everything, yes.
So if you want to talk about sports, you come to me?
Well, see, that's another topic.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, when we talk about sports, there are certain aspects that we can talk about because of. Actually, we were having a discussion one morning, and I say about 95% of the stuff. You're my best friend 95% of the time. But like you say,
don't say that.
Hey, I give a percentage. That means that's an A+, y'all.
That's crazy, because either somebody's your friend or they're not.
You're always my friend.
Well, why would you say 95% of the time?
Because you're not my best friend. See, my best friend, I could talk to my male guys about sports, and they take up that percentage of my interest.
So that trumps what we talk about and the friendship.
That's just things that I need to talk to them about. Just like I thought about you and your speech therapy friends when I was thinking about this. You talk speech therapy language with them people that I cannot really understand.
Okay, so let me rephrase that
Rephrase,
or
okay,
reframe
yes,
that
rephrase.
for you, because that doesn't mean I'm not your friend, because
Right.
you're talking. So you can't say that percentage of the time we're not friends. You might have other friendships that
Right.
serve other purposes.
Okay.
I'm not your everything. You don't come to me for every single thing.
No.
And nor do I go to you for every single thing. I have other friends.
Right.
I have a couple friends from my childhood that I can talk with them and have my relationship with them is different from my relationship with yours, of course, but I can share those childhood memories with them.
Right.
You know, and those people that are close to me from different areas of my life, we have that kind of bond. And even some of the people, why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just looking at you. Can
Okay.
I look at you?
You look like you want to say something. But I think you can have different friends in your life for a different purpose. But I don't like the percentage, because that's saying that 5% of the time that we're not friends. And I don't think that's true.
Well, so what is there a percentage that you can come up with that we're
I
not
don't
friends?
think a percentage is relative to friendship.
Can you say that sometimes you don't feel like we're friends because we may be going through a hard spot in our relationship?
Feeling like we're friends is different from actually being friends. Every group of friends has conflict at some
Right.
point, but that's part of the friendship. That's one of the topics that we're hitting. The points we're making tonight is that there is conflict in friendship,
Matter
but
of
that doesn't negate
Matter of
the
fact,
friendship.
that's one of the first ones. So let's talk about that. Conflict in your relationship. Actually, conflict helps your relationship grow a little.
I think it does too. And even your friendships grow. Once you have a falling out with a friend, and you're able to overcome that falling out, it makes your friendship stronger, because you see that person is still there for you, even though you've had a conflict. As opposed to some people you fall out with, and you never make friends with them again. You never make up and become friends. That person's just kind of out of your life. That happens sometimes.
It does.
But when you have a friend that will stick with you even through the hard times, that becomes a good friendship.
It does.
And you develop those skills about how to relate to each other during those times of conflict. And the same is true in marriage when you have conflict.
That's true. And see, I don't want to make it. I just want to make this point between me, the coach and the lady. We are a married couple, and we go through some of our indifferences with each other, just like the rest of y'all. And we're not always on the same page. So with this topic, we're just saying, you may not feel like you're a friend, but the conflicts that we have, hopefully they are things that we grow from when we have them. And they help us to grow and get better with what we do. We don't let conflicts linger. We have one of those
anymore.
Things. Yeah, anymore.
Because just being very transparent, there was a time, and I told you that I feel like I lost my friend with you. I'm like, I don't feel like you're my friend anymore. I don't feel like we're on the same team.
Okay.
You don't never remember stuff
remember
like
that.
that. You just be blocking it out your mind. But I can remember feeling that in a season of our relationship. And I think that was able to be recovered.
Yeah, it was.
But that's because we had to intentionally work to get to that point. And it took some prayer also to kind of what's the right word? Like to reestablish or recreate or build a bridge back to where we needed to be. I think there was definitely some divine intervention to get to that point. Because I felt like I had lost a friend.
And see, the thing about me and her relationship, I don't want to call it unique, but it's unique to us. As long as since the first day I called you a girlfriend, we've never broken up.
That's true. That is true.
We've always been together, and I think that's kind of uniquely us.
Well,
what we've been through. Now we
yeah,
never said we didn't feel like not being
yeah,
together.
Yeah.
I never said that.
I tried to put you out several times.
Oh, come on now, you didn't mean that. Why you telling these folks that?
In the moment, I did mean it.
Come on now, you weren't letting your big boy go nowhere.
No, you didn't go nowhere. I appreciate that you did,
you
but I tried. But
Y'all
you were too strong, too good of a man. You wouldn't let it. You wouldn't let it.
I wouldn't let it go that far.
No,
not that far.
You would.
So and that kind of helped us build the relationship that we have.
It did.
It kind of helped see that I'm in it for the long run.
Exactly. We had to work through it.
Right.
We had to work through it.
So that's why
I'll say too that our relationship started from friendship.
It did.
because that's how we met, is we were part of the same friend group. And some folks that were among our friend group, namely Erica Backus, Tori Cummins, the other girl, yeah, they were plotting behind our backs to try to get us together. But we did not. That's how we met, is as friends. We were in the same friend group. And I dare say, I don't know if you'll agree, most of our time spent together in college was friendship based.
Yeah.
I mean, we started dating during our first year. I mean, a few months after we met. Maybe a year?
Maybe a year.
Not quite a year.
Yeah, we started dating in like April.
In the spring. I remember it was the spring after we started towards the end of our first year of college.
Yeah.
But we met at the very beginning of college, like within the first few days.
Yeah.
And our friend group was pretty solid.
Right.
And it was that friendship. So we spent most of our time at the beginning of the relationship as friends.
Right.
And so I think that was probably a critical piece that we could not have planned. But because we learned to be friends, we were naturally friends. And that was effortless.
Right.
You know, but it grew into, with some folks pushing us, it grew into more.
Right. And just a little side note, we'll do more with kind of telling people how we got started in on one of these nights, and you know, and tell you how we became who we are in what we're doing now for God's kingdom a little later. But you know, allowing for conflicts definitely helps your relationship grow. Also, in those first couple of months and throughout, we've seeked opportunities to do new things with each other, have new experiences, go on trips. Just we love to travel together. And you know, the last big trip we took, we went out to California, and that was a new experience for me. She had been out there before, but it was a new experience for me, and I could say, looking back, I really enjoyed that trip.
Yeah, and it has gotten to the point that because we have always traveled together, even from the time we were dating. Matter of fact, our first date was a trip, a short trip, but it was a vacation of sorts. But because that's always been something we've had in common, when I travel with other people, I find myself preferring to be there with you. And so that was part of the reason I wanted to go back to California, is, you know, it was great. I enjoyed it, but it's not the same as traveling with you. That's just an easy place for us is to travel together. We enjoy it. We don't hardly have any conflict when we're traveling. It's easy for us to decide what to do and where to go, and to have those new experiences together. And so that's something that always kind of brings us back together too. Whenever we are having conflict, a good trip, it does kind of help mend and gets us both to a place to relax and to enjoy each other. But what we want to share with you guys is, when you seek opportunities to try new things together, you develop new experiences together, which is bonding. And also it makes you get uncomfortable sometimes when you try something new, and that can be bonding, learning to trust and rely on each other for those new experiences. If one person is more adventurous than the other, that's a good time to try some things that both of us are about on the same page with that.
Yes.
But sometimes you have one, who might be a thrill seeker, and the other who's maybe not. But sometimes getting out of your comfort zone can help bond the two of you and build that friendship together.
I can think of one thing that we did together that was totally out of both our comfort zone, was when we went to Atlanta, and we went in there, something in the dark.
Oh, I enjoyed that. Dialogue in the Dark.
Dialogue in the Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, the place was totally blacked out, and we were experiencing what a blind person experiences on a daily basis. And you know, it was actually a blind person that was leading us through the exhibit, and it was a place, and we went in and we walked around totally in the dark, sat down and had a Sprite. How did I know what was a Sprite? It tasted like a Sprite.
Well, you remember it more because it was in the dark.
Right.
Yeah, it was a neat experience, and it was something that neither of us knew anything about. But because it was a new experience and we did it together, that made it more. It made a special experience for us. And that was just a regular date we were taking in Atlanta.
Right.
It wasn't anything special, was it? But we just decided to do that. A couple of exhibits that we had tickets to, or we bought tickets to, and just having that new experience, not knowing what to expect. It was fun and it was educational, and I think it was very memorable.
Very much so.
Yeah, so we encourage you to try new things together, and discover things that are new together. Go places you haven't been, try activities that you haven't tried before, and do them with your spouse. It's nice to do things with other couples, but if your goal really is to bond and to build friendship, do some of those things with just the two of you.
All right.
I just want to say real quick, because sometimes other couples can spoil you fun. I'm just going to say that.
Okay.
We've had that experience. So, yeah, be mindful. If you go with other couples, make sure they're on good terms and that they kind of hold the same values that you do, because it can be a little risky sometimes when you travel with other folks.
All right. Another topic tonight is up under the heading of friendship is stay playful. Always keep a good sense of humor when you're dealing with each other. Sometimes the best medicine to hurting heart or just being in a position where you're just not in agreement is laughter. And my wife looks at YouTube videos of certain people, and she sent me those videos. I'm telling you, I told her to quit sending them to me, especially when I'm driving. If I'm at a red light, I'll stop and look at the video.
Well, maybe you should look at it while you're driving.
I start crying and can't see the road because it's hilarious.
But when I think about who do I want to share this laugh with, it's usually you, because not everybody has the same kind of sense of humor. And so I've sent things to people before, and they just be like, like it ain't funny to them. So I know the things that make me laugh are funny to you too.
Yeah, they are now.
And so if I want to share a laugh with somebody, it's usually you.
I can't. I'm thinking about the last one you sent me. I'm not going to laugh about that.
No, you got to stay focused.
Yes, I got to. So, anything else we want to say about, staying playful and keeping a good sense of humor?
I don't want to get too grown up here, but I recently read a book. Y'all know I'm always reading. But the book I read, it talked about how a lot of couples, their sex life suffers because they lose the ability to play. And I never put that connection together. But I think she was right in what she was saying, is that when you stay playful and kind of lighthearted, that it actually makes it easier for you to be more interested in each other sexually versus always being so tense and serious. And it makes it harder because you are committed to that one person. And for some people, they see it as a negative that, you've got this one person that's your sex partner for the rest of your life. But if you stay playful and friendly and fun with each other, that enhances and makes that part of your life, you don't ever want to get to be boring or to be a chore.
Right.
You want it to be enjoyable. So when you can laugh together, it actually helps that part of your marriage, which is very important.
It is. All right. Be a good listener when your partner is talking to you. Be a good listener, and while your partner is talking to you. And you're looking at me.
I'm just waiting to see what's your revelation on this one.
I don't have a revelation. It's pretty explicit there. It says, be a good listener if you're going to be a good friend. And I guess the reason she's looking at me like that, Facebook family, is because she says I listen to certain pieces of information she give me and not listen to the whole totality of when she's trying to say something to me. And I think just, great advice. And it's something that's a skill that some people got to learn, is to be a good listener if you're going to have a good friendship.
Yeah. Well, listening to a person attentively shows that you care. And so I think the opposite is true as well. If you're not giving that person your full attention, or at least listening with intention. Mama said, stop checking your phone at the light and drive safely. He busted himself, didn't he?
That's so true.
All you can say is yes, ma'am.
That's it.
What were we talking about?
Being a good listener.
Being a good listener, yeah. So because I get irritated if I have to repeat the same thing over and over again, because I'm like, why didn't you just listen the first time? You know, if I'm talking to you, it should be important, I think.
Should be.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, you know. And I'm guilty, too. I mean, sometimes I'm not focused and not a good listener, but I think it shows respect. And you think about it with your friends. You can talk on the phone with your friends, a good girlfriend, for hours, you know, or and just really enjoy, you know, that conversation that has your full attention. So don't give your partner less than what you would give a good girlfriend. Or I don't know what y'all guys do, but you know,
and
conversation's important.
Yeah, conversation. We do have conversations about certain stuff, but we do things. Mm-hmm. You know, we could be out there cutting grass at the church, or lifting weights, or just doing something in the midst of our conversation. But we're also doing, not just talking. So we listen in the context of doing also. So I think that might be the
I think that's important too. And I actually read that somewhere, that very often males, not just men, even boys, tend to be better at talking and listening when it's surrounding some kind of activity, or whether it's working on a car together, or playing sports, or some kind of physical activity. That in general, males tend to be better listeners and talkers when it's surrounding some type of physical activity. So I don't remember where I read that. It's been years ago. But my observation is I have seen that to be true. And Lakeisha Roberts says that we have 2 ears for a reason. We listen more and talk less. 1 mouth, 2 ears. So listening is very important for friendship. Because, you know, some people don't really listen to you and you don't really care. At least for me. You know. But you know, that's supposed to sometimes, like at work or whatever, people are kind of half listening, or you talking to somebody and their attention is easily averted, and I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever, and keep it moving. It doesn't really matter that much. Like, I sent them an email later because they didn't get none of that. They're not focusing, not paying attention, and just keep it moving. It don't hurt my feelings because they're not. You know, our relationship is based upon work. It's not based upon friendship, or our relationship is based upon work. I'm not sure I said that right. It's not based upon friendship, and they're not my spouse, so it's okay. If they don't have good listening skills, I'll just send them an email later and keep it moving.
Yeah, I'm learning to do that at work too, because there's so much to do. People want to take up some precious time by talking about what's maybe not business, or what is at hand at work. And they just want to conversate. And sometimes I just don't have that kind of time. And, you know, I tell them, like, well, you know, we can talk about that later. I got something else I need to take care of at the moment. And that's how I kind of move on to the next thing when I'm at work. So because they can sit there and talk to me and I'm not paying them no attention. I'm thinking about what I got to do in my office. And that's very rude. So instead of being rude, I just tell them, you know, we can't talk about it at the moment, and I get back to them later.
You have a talent for that.
How you do that to me?
I'm sorry. Let's move on.
Yes. All right. Another good thing in your building a good friendship is sometimes you need space. Sometimes space is physical. Sometimes space is just space. You need time for you to unwind. You need to know who you're married to know how much space they really need.
Right. You have to communicate about that.
Right.
Because some people need more space than others. Some people want to be close a lot. And you have to know that about your mate. Hopefully you can find that out in the dating stages. You know, if that's the person that wants to be together all the time, or if it's the person that just enjoys having space. And I mean, there's a level of compatibility there too, because if you're a person that always wants somebody close to you, and the person you're dating or considering for a partnership is a person that likes to have space. So if you're trying to reach out to them and get them, and they don't call back immediately, or they take longer to get back to you, you need to learn if that is a red flag, that they're just too busy and they're not interested enough in you to keep the relationship going, or if they're just a person that if they're an introvert and have to have that space. But you have to learn that about your spouse, and work out that balance so that you give your mate the space they need or the closeness that they need. But that's something you have to communicate and be open and honest about.
Right.
Yeah, because I know we both value our space. And see, if you also can't get to a point that you never spend time together because you're spending too much time
with self.
Yeah, regenerating or kind of re-upping your energy by being alone, because that's what introverts do. What I try to do is make time to be home before you're home, so that I can have some downtime. Because I also gotta, I still have one child at home. We do, but I need some downtime at the end of the day. I need that to unwind and to replenish my energy from the day where I've been interacting with people all day.
All day.
Yeah. So it's, but I think that's something we understand about each other, and you're the same way. And so we have to have a balance, which means sometimes we have to schedule time to be together.
Absolutely. And, just thinking about the time in the day, I thought coaching took up a lot of my time. And I realized that being in administration, in a principal's role, an assistant principal's role, that I am really, literally communicating with people from the time I get to work to the time I finish up. And then on Mondays, I get home and we're setting up for the Marriage Monday. And the time I do have, I go and work out, right after we finish with this. So my Mondays are real busy. So, I still recognize that I do need time for me, but it's just, it doesn't happen during my day anymore like it used to.
You have to make it happen.
Yeah, I used to
That's
have
up to you.
Yeah, as a teacher, you have a planning period. You get that hour and a half or so, or whatever it is. I used to have as a teacher to myself, and just to do things to get prepared for the rest of my day. But now it's just like constant, all day long. People.
Unless you're able to make that adjustment, maybe that's something you got to look at.
And I'm doing a decent job. I get about 5 to 10 minutes. I just go outside and just sit down on a bench somewhere outside for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then sometimes I'm all right when I get back in. So that's just it's just me. Yeah, sometimes. Because sometimes when you're walking back in, somebody walking back in to meet you. So it's really
but
something
But the point is that you have to allow you and your spouse to give each other space.
Right.
Because your spouse is an individual. The two of you are one, but you're two individuals that come together as one. And so you want somebody who has their own things going on in their life, as well as you should have some things going on in your life. And it's a balance to work out what's important to each spouse.
Right.
And that takes some conversation, which is another one of the points we want to making sure that you're building a good friendship. What does that say?
Mommy say, I understand, son.
Oh, yeah, because she
yes,
did
ma'am,
the
you
same
do.
job. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but we talking about friendship.
Okay, we're talking friendship.
All right, so make time to talk, to really talk. Not just chit-chat. What's for dinner? Where we going? What we're doing on such and such day. Not that. That's not what we're talking about. But to really talk. Talk like you did when you were dating and you're trying to get to know your spouse. Talk about what's important to you, what's on your mind. Sharing those things with your spouse. That builds a friendship.
It does.
When you know you have somebody you can go to and share your thoughts, even if they're kind of half-baked thoughts that don't even make sense yet, but to be able to talk about them and voice them to your spouse, that's important, and that builds a friendship when you know that that person is a safe place for you. What did Camille say?
One thing I struggle with processing the idea of sharing a bedroom. How do I have space when I sleep in the same room as another person? I don't even understand that reality. Sweetheart is called buying a king size bed.
That preach. But also, it's different to share. You're not just sharing your space with somebody. You're sharing your space with a person that you are connected to and bonded with on a spiritual level. It's not just that you're sharing your bedroom or your bed with somebody. And so it becomes something you look forward to.
Right.
You know, I always say one of the best parts of my day is at the end when I can get in my bed and be comfortable. How often do I say that? Every day. I love going to bed.
Before she lay down, when she get in there out of her shower, my best part of my day is going and getting in this bed.
It feels good.
And she's snuggling in the
bed.
And
I prefer that he is there instead of sleeping somewhere else in the house. I prefer that he's there because I appreciate his warmth. He don't seem to understand how much I appreciate that, but I do.
I'm an electrical blanket, y'all. That's what she loves about me. Electrical blanket.
But also, Camille, when you got to realize too that where you are in life, your bedroom is your space. That's all you really have that's yours, is your bedroom. But when you share a home with somebody, you have the whole house belongs to you, to the two of you. And that's shared, but you have space. You don't have, because sometimes if we need downtime, he finds him a room and I find myself a room, and we might be separated for hours just kind of having that downtime, but then we come back together at the end of the day. And that's just kind of how marriage is. It's not a burden to share that space with another person. Just keep on living, like the old folks used to say. Just keep on living. It'll make sense to you when you find somebody who's that special to you.
Right. Somebody
who's marriage worthy. You'll find that you'll have a different opinion on that. So
it's good. I think that was the last one.
Did we cover everything?
You say make time to really talk. You went right into it.
Okay, well, let me go over the points just to be sure, because I feel like we kind of made it real conversational, which is good. But those points, is it 7:30?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, the first one was to seek opportunities to try new things. The second point was to allow for conflict. The third is stay playful. The fourth is take an interest. Did we talk about that? Take an interest in what the other person did. Right. We? Okay. 5 was be a good listener, and 6 is provide space, and 7 is make time to really talk. So, yes, I encourage. I have to say, Camille, absolutely enjoy your space while you have it. There's an advantage to being single, and it's when it's that time in your life. Enjoy being single. Don't. Sometimes people rush through that period in their life where they're single. And they're so fixated on being married and so worried that they're going to miss their opportunity to be married. Enjoy your time being single. Use that time to get to know yourself. Use that time to figure out who you are. Build your relationship with God. Build friendships.
That's the point I want to make. This is the time for you to build your relationship with God.
Distracted.
Undistracted, that's the word.
Yeah, you can focus on it. Enjoy being single.
Yes.
Yeah, so, because once you cross that threshold of marriage, you may, some people go back to being single later, but it ain't quite the same as when you, like you are, young and free and uninhibited.
That's right.
Enjoy that time.
And see, the thing about it is, could be another topic. But I enjoyed my singleness as a single man. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did too.
And when I started dating your mother, I enjoyed our dating process. When we got engaged, somehow or another, I started enjoying that too. And then all those stages for me were growth. And then when we got married without kids, that was another
That was a good time.
That was a great time. And then we had you, that bouncing little
That was
baby
good,
Cammy.
too.
That was a different level of love and and understanding who I am as a now a father. And then we had the other edition with the Pooh. And you know, I was questioning myself, do I have enough love for two babies? Somehow it just showed up, and I have more than enough love for two babies because now we got godchildren.
Oh yeah.
And now, you know, we're in the stage of being mentors and to a grown daughter, and still got one in the house that we're still continuing to raise. All this has been pretty exciting to me when I sit down and think about it. I ain't saying it was easy,
Right.
but it's been enjoyable. It's been an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
And, you know, having good daughters makes it very good to enjoy this experience. So, you know, it's a
singleness.
yeah, and enjoy that while you got it.
Yeah.
So, I think that's pretty good tonight, don't you think?
I think that's
I
all
don't
I
think
have.
somebody say they enjoyed their husband being an electrical blanket too.
See? I'm telling you.
Wow.
I'm telling him
My
all the time,
gosh.
don't have me going to bed like a single woman. Why don't have me in there cold? You know I get cold.
I say, now you're putting people in our business for real, ain't you?
This is true.
Yeah, it's just I still be do some work or something, and she be like, well, I'm going to bed like a single woman. I said, you ain't single. You see me standing there, but you ain't in the bed. Okay, fair enough.
I need some warmth.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that one kind of led us to two children too, didn't it?
Okay, now you going to get too personal now. It's time for you to sign off.
All right. Now, with that said, from the lady and the coach, we love y'all. Good night.
Good night.